My name is Richard LeBaron. I'm a former diplomat in the U.S. Foreign Service, a career diplomat. I am a member of the Advisory Council of the Global Ties organization, and I do that because I am a great cheerleader for exchanges. I think they're one of the most powerful elements of diplomacy, and that includes every other element of national power. They stand very tall, in my opinion, among the instruments the United States uses to project its image and its influence around the world. And I've seen that in action everywhere from India to the United Kingdom. We've got a great program today, and it's my great pleasure to introduce it and then get out of the way. And I am introducing it on behalf of Global Ties and our partners, AFS Intercultural Programs USA, Cultural Vistas, and the Institute of International Education. This is the 4th annual strategic dialogue we've sponsored. Today, as we look east and examine changing dynamics in public diplomacy, we're fortunate to have a fantastic lineup to present perspectives and engage in dialogue on important issues shaping this critical region. We will hear from members of Congress who are taking some time out of what is shaping up to be a very busy day, if not weekend. The Diplomatic Corps, exchange implementers, and public diplomacy practitioners leading the way in these areas. And we look forward to a dynamic discussion. Before we begin, a few quick notes. Thank you to the Office of Senator Mark Warner for assisting us in securing this very nice venue. Please remember that while in this Senate room, you may hear bells, which are routinely used to alert members to votes and other business. You don't have to do anything when you hear those bells. These are not fire alarms, so just sit still. Additionally, the dais behind me is reserved for senators only. Finally, you will find biographies for today's speakers in your program. As such, introductions will be very brief. With that, let's get started, and I'm delighted to welcome Congressman Joaquin Castro of the 20th District of Texas, which encompasses parts of San Antonio. He's the founding co-chair of the Caucus on ASEAN and the U.S.-Japan Caucus. Congressman.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And thank you, Ambassador LeBaron, for that introduction and for your service to the United States and supporting U.S. engagement throughout the world. I also want to thank Global Ties and all of its members for organizing this wonderful event and bringing us together today. Dialogues in events like this are critical in developing ideas and supporting U.S. leadership and diplomacy in international security around the world. As Ambassador LeBaron said, I represent my hometown of San Antonio, Texas, and in the House of Representatives, I'm glad to serve on the House Foreign Affairs Committee and the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. And I should also say that it's a nice break not to be talking about the Russia investigation this morning. I'm also a founding co-chair of the U.S.-Japan Caucus and the Congressional Caucus on ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. And as a member of Congress, I've had the opportunity to meet with people from all over the world, people from businesses, NGOs, governments, and everything in between. And each and every one of them, even before first setting foot in the United States, had an idea of what America was. When people from around the world think of the United States, they think about ideas like the American dream, images like Neil Armstrong on the moon, and sounds like jazz. Our values and histories, movies and songs project an image of the United States that reach literally everyone on the planet. Often, these views are the results of visits to the United States, engagement with an American cultural product, or a conversation with a U.S. Foreign Service officer. Communicating the essence of American society, our values and beliefs, is and ought to be a core function of our foreign policy. These public diplomacy programs bring a slice of America to the rest of the world, and they bring a slice of the world to the United States. Public diplomacy programs advance not only the interests of the United States, but also the very core of our identity, the values that define American society and civic life. We all know and agree that Asia, for example, is a region that's undergoing tremendous change. Rapidly expanding economies in a world connected by the internet has led to unprecedented interactions across the Pacific Ocean. As our societies interact more closely through friendships, tourism, and business, there's a genuine opportunity to promote the values that define our country and encourage a positive view of the United States. Exchanges like those conducted by AFS and Cultural Vistas and other organizations make the vast expanse of the Pacific a little bit smaller and engagement with Asia a little bit more accessible. Public diplomacy programs are also the most accessible part of foreign policy. Every citizen, every student and business leader, academic and poet can be an ambassador of the United States to another land and another culture. It's important that the United States continue to support these programs through federal funding, state-led programs, and through partnerships with philanthropic organizations that share our values and our goals. On Monday, the administration will release their foreign affairs budget. Last year, the President's proposed FY 2018 budget request included more than a 30% cut for the State Department and USAID. There was a bipartisan agreement in Congress that the President's overall budget did not reflect the robust USAID and State Department our country and foreign policy so desperately need to meet the challenges that we face around the world. My hope is that FY 2019's budget request will reflect a more robust diplomatic and development structure within the United States government. And right now, I'm cautiously optimistic of that. For months, the communities that support and see value in these public diplomacy programs originated and have been pushing Congress and the President to continue supporting U.S. engagement overseas. In Congress, you have my word that I will continue to fight for and support these programs. I'll continue to support more engagement by the United States around the world. And I hope that all of us, in all of our work, can be emissaries and ambassadors in our own way when we go out and meet with our friends and allies in other places around the world and let them know that the United States is still very much committed to diplomacy, very much believes in the role of the United States in the world. Our country is a leader of nations. That's going to continue to be important for all of us, not just as Americans, but as people who care about the future of this planet. So I want to say thank you to Global Ties and each and every one of you for, in your own way, carrying out that mission. Thank you.